Ever wondered how a superstar mogul could end up accused of hanging someone off a 17th floor balcony while allegedly being halfway across the country? Today, we dive into a courtroom battle that's got everyone asking, can Diddy really be in two places at once? And that's not even the wildest part. Picture a romantic dinner lit by candles, turned into a savage brawl so brutal, it makes The Shining look tame. Doors kicked in, headlocks in closets, a 6-block barefoot escape, and a final shower scene that will leave you gasping. Stick around, because what unfolds next could decide whether this trial grinds to a halt or explodes into a verdict no one sees coming. Before Jane even took the stand, the courtroom erupted in a fierce procedural battle. Diddy's defense team sprang their biggest weapon, a mistrial motion claiming prosecutors tainted the jury by calling Cassie and Brianna to testify about that infamous 17th floor balcony incident. They argue both women lied under oath, insisting they saw Diddy dangle someone over a ledge, when in fact Cassie wasn't in the room until afterward. But the drama doesn't stop there. The defense has dug up travel logs showing Diddy was on the East Coast, New York specifically, when the alleged balcony stunt happened in Los Angeles back in September 2016. How can our client be in two places at once? They demand, seeking to expose perjury and derail the entire case. Meanwhile, the government is pushing to recall Dr. Hughes, the psychologist who explained how trauma bonds can trap victims in cycles of abuse. Both sides sparred all morning over whether his expert insights and other key evidence should be allowed to shape the jury's view of Jane's upcoming testimony. By Tuesday morning, the judge will have to decide if this case resets from square one or moves forward with all this explosive proof on the table. But that was only the beginning. The day began with a courtroom showdown that set the tone for everything to follow. Before Jane even testified, Diddy's lawyers fired their opening salvo, a mistrial motion arguing that Cassie and Brianna lied about witnessing the 17th floor balcony incident. They pointed to travel records proving Diddy was in New York when prosecutors claim he dangled someone in Los Angeles, insisting you can't be in two places at once. Meanwhile, the government fought to recall its trauma bond expert, Dr. Hughes, to explain why survivors stay trapped in cycles of abuse. By Tuesday morning, the judge must decide whether to wipe the slate clean or press on, setting the stakes higher than ever. But this was just the prelude to Jane's explosive testimony. Just as the courtroom buzzed over procedural fireworks, the focus snapped back to the fallout from Cassie's devastating lawsuit. Filed in November 2023, Cassie Ventura's claim landed her a staggering $30 million settlement barely 24 hours later, an unprecedented payout that sent shockwaves through Diddy's inner circle. Jane admits she cracked it open like a confession note, reading descriptions of drug-fueled nights and emotional manipulation that she says mirrored her own darkest memories. As Cassie's lawyer delivered that bombshell, Diddy's team scrambled to craft an apology video. Jane even caught a glimpse of their first draft, complete with trembling lip service and promises of seeking professional help. Footage of the hotel beating tape surfaced at the same time. Lawyers huddled, family members clustered, and suddenly every camera in the room was pointed at Diddy. It was a stark reminder that in this trial, every scandal feeds the next, and nobody was prepared for what Jane would reveal once she took the stand. Just when Jane thought the drama might cool off, a promised yacht trip turned into her worst nightmare. She agreed to 2 days of those infamous hotel nights before Diddy was supposed to whisk her away to Miami, but the yacht never showed. Instead, she watched on social media as he sailed off with another woman, even boasting on a podcast about their escapades. That stung, and when Jane confronted him, texts flew. "I don't want to be used and locked in a room to perform," she pleaded. "I don't want to come to New York to be a hoe for the millionth time." His reply was dismissive fury. "I didn't have S with anyone. Don't fluff with me." The power play cut deeper than any courtroom clash. Housing, travel, trust, all weaponized. Jane begged for clarity, only to have her concerns gaslit away. But the real twist? Later, after she joined OnlyFans to reclaim her independence, Diddy flipped again, critic at first, then supportive once the cash started rolling in. Yet no amount of likes or subscriptions could erase the core question hanging over every trip and text. In this world of champagne and betrayal, who really holds the leash? Just when Jane thought she'd seen the worst, her sanctuary was stormed by Homeland Security in March 2023. Agents ransacking the home Diddy had been footing the bill for. Suddenly, her safe haven felt like a trap, and Diddy quietly covered her legal fees as cameras circled. Then came the chilling extortion attempt. A man named Cable contacted Jane, threatening to dump a video of her hotel night on the dark web unless she paid $10,000. She called Diddy in a panic. He reassured her the tapes wouldn't leak, but the threat was enough to leave her shaken to the core. A media outlet even inquired about publishing the footage, only to back off when Jane's legal team intervened. Between federal raids and blackmail threats, Jane's private life was anything but private, and it provided the calm before the storm that exploded on June 18, 2024. Just when Jane thought the chaos couldn't get worse, June 18, 2024 blew everything wide open. What began as candlelit romance, champagne, tequila, a dinner laid out just for two, exploded into a nightmare within 30 minutes. Jane Tua, first a jealous accusation, Diddy was back from a Utah trip with a woman 27 years younger. Too young to buy a drink. Jane called him out, even blurting pedophile, and shoved his head into the marble kitchen counter. That shove ignited a savage chase. Doors kicked in, Jane ducked into the bathroom, only for him to smash through that door too. She fled into the closet, where he grabbed her in a headlock. Jane Cowslings. Miraculously, she wriggled free, changed clothes, and bolted barefoot down 6 blocks, hiding behind a wall for 2 gripping hours. When she dared return, the violence resumed. Doors battered, furniture smashed, guest rooms no refuge. Finally, taking refuge in a shower, she saw 2 golf ball welts rising on her forehead. He marched in, slapped her 3 times, and coolly told her to just ice it before leaving her trembling on the wet tile. Jane people love Sindhu. Photos of shattered doors and cracked walls, later shown in court, only hint at the chaos of that brutal night. But nothing prepared anyone for what came next. Jane Holmes. Jane Horter. Even after that night of terror, the cycle kept spinning. Jane describes days-long freak-offs, fueled by multiple doses of ecstasy to stay awake while male escorts rotated through their hotel suite. She'd wake up wired, only to find Diddy already coordinating the next guest. Text invites, lingerie laid out, and cash handed over like clockwork. Jane Horter is, one evening after a blur of pills and strangers, she remembers Diddy pressing her. Is this coercion? Yet the party didn't stop. Instead, she dutifully performed, numb and disoriented. On another occasion, she turned to him mid-encounter, voice trembling. I miss Paul. He answered the phone himself and summoned Paul back that same night. Jane Castling. Jane's own messages haunt the record. I don't want to keep feeling like this, she pleaded, only to watch him text her back pep talks, urging her to smile for the show. Cash payouts ranged from $3,000 in Ubers to $12,000 in crisp bills left on her dresser, supposedly for reparations. But Jane never used the dime for repairs, because nothing could mend the breach of her own consent. Jane Sieves, and after every freak-off, she returned, drawn by love, addiction, or desperation. Tuesday, June 10, cross-examination could shatter or reinforce every word Jane just laid bare. Defense counsel will press her on those same texts she sent, initiating hotel nights, setting prices, even demanding escorts. Can she prove the drugs and duress erased her agency? And don't forget the looming mistrial decision. If Cassie's perjury claim sticks, it could reset this entire case back to square one. Will the judge toss the jury's work, or will Jane's testimony stand tall, cementing a narrative of exploitation and abuse? No matter the outcome, one thing is clear. This trial has exposed a secret world of power, coercion, and luxury gone dark. And Tuesday's rulings could change everything. Stay tuned, because the next chapter in the Diddy saga is about to begin.